Well, so dear friends, today we are going to start the study of new topic, that is human male reproductive system. So now let us start the study of male reproductive system. The human male reproductive system consists of different organs and associated glands. The human male reproductive system consists of different organs such as scrotum, testes, Rete Testis, Vasa Efferentia, Epididymis, Vasa Deferentia, Seminal Vesicles, ejaculatory duct, urethra, prostate gland, Corpus gland, it may be called as the bulbourethral gland, and finally penis. So all these are the different parts, different organs and associated glands of human male reproductive system. Let us start the study of first organ, that is scrotum. Scrotum is nothing but simply it is a pouch of darkly pigmented and wrinkled skin. Scrotum is nothing but simply it is a pouch of darkly pigmented and wrinkled skin which oftenly show the development of hairs at puberty and sexual maturity. And this scrotum, it shows the development of hairs at puberty. Puberty means at sexual maturity. It means when that male individual attains sexual maturity around the age of 15, 16, 17, there is a development of hairs on the scrotum. Now let us talk a little bit detail. This scrotum, it hangs outside the abdominal cavity. It hangs outside the abdominal cavity below pubic symphysis. I am going to explain you. First of all, listen carefully. The scrotum in male individual, it hangs outside the abdominal cavity below pubic symphysis. Below pubic symphysis, in front of upper part of thighs, in front of upper part of thighs and behind penis. Behind penis. Now let me explain you properly. Here I am going to draw outline diagram of human body. I just imagine here is supposed to be outline diagram of human body. Suppose here is a head, neck, forelimbs, and these are the two legs. These are the two legs. Now all of you are known the body of human being internally divided into two parts. The upper part is called thorax, lower part is called abdomen, isn't it? The upper part is known as thorax and lower part is known as abdomen. Also we all are aware that most of the visceral organs, most of the internal body organs are located here in the abdomen. In 11th we have studied, 11वीत आपण शिकलोय की मानवामध्ये बरेचसे जे विसरल ऑर्गन्स आहेत, इंटरनल ऑर्गन्स आहेत, ते या ठिकाणी ॲब्डॉमिनल कॅव्हिटी मध्ये असतात. हार्ट, लंग्स आणि मेजर ब्लड वेसल्स हे थोरॅक्स मध्ये असतात. आता मी असं सांगत होतो की स्क्रोटम काय आहे? तर स्क्रोटम it is simply a pouch of dark colored, darkly pigmented and wrinkled skin, and it is ex-abdominal. Ex-abdominal means outside the abdominal cavity. अर्थात abdominal cavity च्या बाहेर, abdominal cavity च्या बाहेर, below pubic symphysis. Try to understand. Below pubic symphysis. Pubic symphysis. In 11th, while studying the chapter skeleton, we have seen that the hip region consists of two identical bones called as pelvic bones, togetherly known as pelvic girdle. Let me explain you in detail. In the pelvic region of human being, in the hip region of human being, मानवाच्या कमरेच्या भागामध्ये त्या ठिकाणी आपल्याला माहिती आहे की अशा प्रकारची दोन समान हाडं असतात. अशा प्रकारे we have studied in 11 अशा प्रकारचे दोन सेम आयडेंटिकल बोन्स असतात. त्यांना म्हटलं जातं pelvic bones किंवा innominate bones. We have studied in 11 and you know these two pelvic bones are fused mid-ventrally. mid-ventrally याचा अर्थ हे जे दोन बोन्स आहेत ज्यांना आपण पेल्विक बोन्स म्हणतो, प्युबिक बोन्स म्हणतो, ते मिड वेंट्रली म्हणजे पुढच्या बाजूने मध्यभागी जुळलेली असतात आणि अर्थातच या ठिकाणी जिथे ती दोन हाडं जुळलेली असतात त्या जॉइंटला म्हटलं जातं प्युबिक सिम्फायसिस. आता मी म्हणत होतो द स्क्रोटम इज एक्स ॲब्डॉमिनल, दॅट इज इट हँग्स आउटसाइड द ॲब्डॉमिन बिलो प्युबिक सिम्फायसिस. अर्थातच प्युबिक सिम्फायसिसच्या खाली here is that sash of skin what we call as the scrotum, and just in front of upper part of thighs, you know these are the thighs च्या वरच्या भागाच्या पुढे and behind penis, you know that penis is nothing but the male copulatory organ. अर्थात पेनिसच्या मागे प्युबिक सिम्फायसिसच्या खाली आणि थाईजच्या अप्पर पार्टच्या वर अशा प्रकारे ही जी स्किनी पाउच आहे त्याला आपण म्हणतो स्क्रोटम. नाउ लेट अस कन्सिडर दिस स्क्रोटम आउटसाइड. या ठिकाणी मी हे स्क्रोटम बाजूला काढलेलं आहे. जस्ट लुक, हियर इज सपोज टू बी द स्क्रोटम. आपण कल्पना करूया दिस इज स्क्रोटम. नाउ द cavity of scrotum, the cavity of scrotum is called as vaginal coelom. The cavity of scrotum is called vaginal coelom, and the cavity of scrotum is divided into left and right scrotal sacs by means of vertical septum. हे जे काही स्क्रोटम आहे, स्क्रोटमची कॅव्हिटी आहे, त्या स्क्रोटमच्या कॅव्हिटीचे लेफ्ट आणि राईट अशा दोन स्क्रोटल सॅक्स मध्ये आतून विभागणी झालेली असते. मीन्स वी कॅन से दिस इज लेफ्ट स्क्रोटल सॅक, दिस इज राईट स्क्रोटल सॅक, and these two scrotal sacs are separated from each other by means of a vertical septum known as septum scroti. Now, in the wall of scrotum, there is a presence of continuous layer of smooth muscle fibers, and that smooth muscle fibers present in the wall of scrotum are known as dartus tunic. You know what is the function of scrotum? But before to that, you must know that each scrotal sac encloses a single testis. Each scrotal sac encloses a single testis and some associated structures. Now come to the function of scrotum. Scrotumचं कार्य काय? First of all, the scrotum, it protects the testis and associated structures. या स्क्रोटम मध्ये किंवा स्क्रोटल सॅक्स मध्ये असणारे जे टेस्टिस आहेत आणि इतर जे स्ट्रक्चर्स आहेत त्यांना प्रोटेक्ट करणं हे पहिलं कार्य झालं. In addition to that, it performs thermoregulatory function. Thermoregulatory function means what? Thermoregulatory function means the scrotum, it maintains 2 degrees Celsius temperature less than the body temperature. It maintains 2 degrees Celsius temperature less than the body temperature. बॉडी टेम्परेचर पेक्षा या स्क्रोटमचं टेम्परेचर हे जवळपास 2 डिग्री सेल्सिअसने कमी असतं. Why this is so? This is necessary for sperm formation in the testes. आपल्या किमान सगळ्यांना माहिती आहे की टेस्टिस मध्ये स्पर्म्स तयार होतात. त्या प्रक्रियेला आपण स्पर्मॅटोजेनेसिस म्हणतो. आणि अर्थात for the formation of sperm, for the process of spermatogenesis, it requires slightly less temperature than the body temperature, and for that purpose only the testes are outside the abdominal cavity. आणि म्हणूनच टेस्टिस या abdominal cavity च्या बाहेर scrotal sac मध्ये असतात. In addition to that, the wall of scrotum is darkly pigmented. It is wrinkled and show growth and development of hairs at maturity, sexual maturity, that is puberty. That's all about the scrotum. Now come to the second part, that is testes. Testes. T-E-S. T-E-S. Testes. It is plural form. And T-E-S, T-I-S is singular. We all are known that testes are nothing but male gonads. Yesterday, means in our last lecture, we have discussed. These are male gonads, or these are called primary sex organ in male. In human being, there are presence of two testes. These are paired structure. The testes are mesodermal in origin. Mesodermal in origin. It means during embryonic growth, testes develop from mesoderm. All of you are known, mesoderm is one of the germ layers. Testes are oval in shape. These are oval in shape, pinkish in color, somewhat pinkish in color. The size of testes is variable, but on an average, in normal adult human being, the size of each testis is about 4.5 by 2.5 by 3 centimeter. That is length, width and thickness. Most important thing, the testes are abdominal during the growth of fetus. The testes are abdominal during the growth of fetus. गर्भाची वाढ होत असताना टेस्टिस या गर्भाच्या abdominal cavity मध्ये असतात. But the testes descend down, means the testes get pushed down into the scrotal sac around 7th month of development of fetus. Around 7th month of development of fetus. fetusची 7व्या महिन्याची वाढ होत असताना या टेस्टिस की ज्या आधी ॲब्डॉमेन मध्ये असतात त्या खाली ढकलल्या जातात आणि त्या स्क्रोटल सॅक मध्ये येतात. and this is necessary. Sometime if there is a failure of descending down of testes into the scrotal sac, if there is a failure of descending down of testes into the scrotal sac and remain permanently in the abdomen, then there is a sterility. There is a sterility. That individual remains sterile. Why this is so? Very simple. You know that if testes remain permanently abdominal, due to high body temperature, there is no chance of formation of sperm. I told you few minutes before. थोड्या वेळापूर्वीच मी तुम्हाला म्हटलं की स्पर्म तयार होण्यासाठी, टेस्टिस मध्ये स्पर्म तयार होण्यासाठी शरीराच्या तापमानापेक्षा सर्वसाधारण 2 डिग्री सेल्सिअस तापमान कमी आवश्यक असतं. मग जर टेस्टिस कायम ॲब्डॉमेन मध्ये राहिल्या तर त्या हाय टेम्परेचर मुळे अर्थात त्या टेस्टिस मध्ये स्पर्म तयारच होणार नाही आणि तो इंडिव्हिज्युअल हा स्टराईल राहील. अँड दिस कंडिशन ऑफ फेल्युअर ऑफ टेस्टिस from abdominal cavity into the scrotal sac is known as cryptorchidism. Cryptorchidism. Now, the testes are suspended from abdominal cavity into the scrotal sac by means of a cord-like structure. By means of a cord-like structure. Cord in the sense स्ट्रिंग लाईक स्ट्रक्चर, दोरीसारख्या स्ट्रक्चरच्या मदतीने टेस्टिस या ॲब्डॉमेन मधून या ठिकाणी स्क्रोटल सॅक मध्ये सस्पेंड झालेले असतात. And these cord-like structures are called as spermatic cords. Spermatic cords. Actually, this spermatic cord consists of vas deferens, which is one of the parts of male reproductive system. Male reproductive system चाच एक भाग आहे जो तुम्हाला आता शिकायला येईल. त्या व्हॅस डिफरन्स या स्पर्मॅटिक कॉर्ड मध्ये असतात, ब्लड वेसल्स असतात आणि इतरही काही टिश्यू असतात. सो इट गिव्स सपोर्ट टू द टेस्टिस. नाउ द टेस्टिस रिमेन अटॅच्ड टू द वॉल ऑफ स्क्रोटम. लुक, हियर इज द वॉल ऑफ स्क्रोटम. तुम्हाला माहिती आहे हे स्क्रोटम आहे, ही स्क्रोटमची वॉल आहे. And with the help of white chalk I have shown the testes. Now the testes remain attached to the wall of scrotum by means of a short ligament. By means of a short ligament. Ligament is nothing but a short elastic band-like structure made up of fibrous connective tissue. So this short ligament, this short band of connective tissue by which the testes remain attached to the scrotal wall is known as gubernaculum. And you people have to remember these terms, very useful while attempting the MCQs. Anyway, so here briefly I was telling you about some of the important features of testes. The testes externally remain surrounded by three protective coverings. Testes externally remain surrounded by three protective coverings. The outermost covering is called tunica vaginalis. Middle covering is called tunica albuginea. Tunica albuginea. And innermost layer is called tunica vasculosa. You must know that testis is internally divided into 200 to 300 compartments. आतल्या बाजूने टेस्टिसचे जवळपास 200 to 300 लहान लहान कंपार्टमेंट झालेले असतात, कप्पे झालेले असतात. That are called as the lobules. Okay? And that each lobule, त्या प्रत्येक लोब्यूल मध्ये, just imagine here is supposed to be the testis and these are the lobules. Each lobule contain 1 to 4, 1 ते 4 very fine tubules. Very fine tubules. एका लोब्यूल मध्ये 1 to 4, 1 ते 4 very fine tubules are present. That tubules are called as seminiferous tubules. We shall study about that seminiferous tubule in detail later on while studying the histological structure of testes. Now let us proceed to the next part of male reproductive system, that is Tubuli Recti. Here I am going to draw a diagram, lateral view of the scrotum enclosing the testes and other structures. So let me draw that diagram. So now, after the study of scrotum and testes, we have to study about Tubuli Recti, Rete Testis, Vasa Efferentia and Epididymis successively. Here I have written the names of all these 4 different structures togetherly because all these structures remain associated with the testes within the scrotum. Here I have drawn the lateral view of scrotum. Here is the lateral view of scrotum. It means here I have shown a side view of scrotum enclosing testes and all these other structures. Let me explain you properly. Few minutes before we have seen that here is the scrotum. Now here above the scrotum, with the help of dotted lines, this is supposed to be the abdominal cavity. Cavity of abdomen, abdominal cavity. Okay. Now the abdominal cavity and the cavity of scrotum are communicated with the help of a narrow passage. It means here is a narrow opening, narrow passage. This passage is known as inguinal canal. Inguinal canal. Now come back. Here is supposed to be the scrotum. Now with the help of yellow chalk, here I have shown a single testis. I told you that the testis is externally covered by three layers. Now please look at the diagram. Just below the wall of scrotum, with the help of green chalk, I have shown the two layers. Actually, these two layers are nothing but peritoneal membranes. These are peritoneal membranes. Do you know what is peritoneum or what is peritoneal membranes? In 11th we people have studied that peritoneum or peritoneal membranes means the membrane which form the lining of our body cavity. Lining of body cavity. Lining means what? Internal covering. अर्थात आपली जी बॉडी कॅव्हिटी आहे, ॲब्डॉमिनल कॅव्हिटी आहे, शरीराची जी पोकळी आहे जिला आपण सिलोम म्हणतो, सिलोम, त्याचा आतलं अस्तर, इंटरनल कव्हरिंग अर्थात लाइनिंग तयार करणारे जे मेम्ब्रेन असतं त्याला म्हणतात पेरिटोनियम. मग आपल्याला या ठिकाणी कळू शकेल की या स्क्रोटमच्या आतल्या बाजूला या ठिकाणी हियर इज अ लाइनिंग ऑफ peritoneum. Actually it is double peritoneum. It is double peritoneum. The outer is called parietal peritoneum, inner is called visceral peritoneum. Outer parietal peritoneum, inner visceral peritoneum. म्हणजे हे पेरिटोनियम मेम्ब्रेनचे जे दोन लेयर्स आहेत त्याच्या बाहेरच्या पेरिटोनियमला म्हटलं जातं parietal peritoneum आणि आतल्याला म्हटलं जातं visceral peritoneum. Now this visceral peritoneum is nothing but the tunica vaginalis, which is the outermost covering over testes. Actually it is the visceral peritoneum, a peritoneum membrane आहे. Then just inside the tunica vaginalis there is another layer, that is tunica albuginea. With the help of yellow chalk, let me show. It is tunica albuginea. Of course, all these are made up of connective tissue, thin layer of connective tissue, tunica albuginea. Now this tunica albuginea, it send many septa into the testes. Tunica albuginea, it send many septa. Septa याचा अर्थ पडदे. अर्थात या ठिकाणी या ट्युनिका अल्ब्युजिनिया मधून, ट्युनिका अल्ब्युजिनिया पासून असंख्य सेप्टा, असंख्य पडदे टेस्टिस मध्ये गेलेले असतात की ज्यामुळे टेस्टिस इज इंटरनली डिवाइडेड इनटू मेनी स्मॉल कंपार्टमेंट्स, दॅट इज लोब्युल्स. थोडा या ठिकाणी या येलो कलरने मी हे लोब्युल्स दाखवले, हे टेस्टिसचे लोब्युल्स दाखवले. अर्थात हे का तयार झाले? These lobules are formed because of septa. Septa, plural form of septum, padde, sent by the tunica albuginea into the testes. Now the inner layer I have shown with the help of pink and dotted line. This is tunica vasculosa. Tunica vasculosa. It is vascular layer. Means it shows network of blood capillary. So I said that the testis is externally covered by three coverings: outermost tunica vaginalis, middle tunica albuginea, and inner, that is tunica vasculosa. Now let us move to the Tubuli Recti. Listen. The seminiferous tubules, listen carefully. The seminiferous tubules of each lobule, seminiferous tubules of each lobule, प्रत्येक लोब्यूल मध्ये असणारे जे seminiferous tubules आहेत, that run medially and posteriorly, that run medially and posteriorly, in the sense that seminiferous tubules, they run towards the posterior side, back side of the testes, converge and fuse together to form short and straight tubes. To form short and straight tubes. Look, these are the short and straight tubes. How these are formed? These tubes are formed by the fusion, by the union of seminiferous tubules present in each lobule. I am going to repeat. The seminiferous tubules present in each lobule. या टेस्टिस मध्ये जे 200 ते 300 लोब्युल्स आहेत आणि प्रत्येक लोब्युल मध्ये ज्या सेमिनिफेरस ट्युब्युल्स आहेत त्या या ठिकाणी एकत्र येतात, कन्वर्ज होतात टुवर्ड्स द पोस्टेरियर साइड आणि त्या एकत्र येऊन त्यांच्यापासून शॉर्ट आणि स्ट्रेट अशा प्रकारच्या डक्ट्स तयार होतात, लहान लहान ट्यूब तयार होतात. त्यांना म्हटलं जातं ट्यूबुली रेक्टी. They are called as the tubuli recti. Okay, so now all these tubuli recti here open into the next organ, that is Rete Testis. Rete Testis, it is a singular. Listen, Rete Testis singular, plural. Let me tell you, plural. Retia testis. Retia testis. Here we have considered a single testis, therefore I have written Rete Testis. Rete Testis is nothing but simply it is a network. It is a network of wide and irregular tubules. Wide and irregular tubules. Look at the diagram. These are the tubules. These are the tubules. These are wide, very broad, and irregular tubules. They form a network. Zala. This network of wide and irregular tubules present in the posterior side of testis known as Rete Testis. Actually, Rete, this word stands for back, behind, hind, posterior, मागे. अर्थात टेस्टिसच्या मागे असणारं हे जे अतिसूक्ष्म अशा ट्युब्युल्सचं जाळं आहे त्याला म्हटलं जातं रेटी टेस्टिस. अँड द ट्युब्युली रेक्टी, या ज्या ट्युब्युली रेक्टी आहेत पांढऱ्या रंगाने दाखवलेल्या, all these tubuli recti, they open into the Rete Testis. Now the Rete Testis is communicated with the next organ, that is Epididymis, by means of about 10 to 12 very thin ductules. 10 to 12 very thin ductules known as Vasa Efferentia. Vasa Efferentia. Vas efferens singular, Vasa Efferentia plural. Let me show. Look at the diagram. Suppose these are very thin tubules. These are very thin tubules. These are about 10 to 12 in number. These are about 10 to 12 in number. And these tubules, here what I have shown, called as Vasa Efferentia. Vasa Efferentia, these are 10 to 12 very thin ductules, and that ductules connect the Rete Testis with the next organ, that is Epididymis. So what is the function of Vasa Efferentia? Very simple. Simply to transfer the sperms from Rete Testis into the Epididymis, right? So now let us talk what is Epididymis. Epididymis is actually C or comma shaped structure present at the hind surface of posterior surface of testes. You know, this is anterior surface, this is posterior surface. So the Epididymis, it is slightly C or comma shaped. Let me show. Here I have shown slightly comma or C-shaped structure present along the posterior border of testes. The epididymis actually an elongated, highly elongated and highly convoluted tube. The length of this epididymis is about 6 meter and thickness is nearly 0.4 mm, means nearly half millimeter. So it is thin, elongated tube and it is highly convoluted. Here I am going to show that epididymis. It is a tube. It is a tube. And it is highly coiled, highly convoluted. Of course, because of this highly coiled nature, it gets accommodated in this very short place, in this very short portion. Now, please look here. These Vasa Efferentia, they are communicated with the epididymis. They open into the epididymis. Now this epididymis, it is further divided into 3 regions. या epididymis चे 3 भाग पडले जातात. 3 भाग पडले जातात. Here I am going to write. First part or upper part is called head. This upper part is called head. Upper part is called head. हा जो वरचा भाग आहे epididymisचा त्याला head असं म्हटलं जातं, or it may be called as caput epididymis. Caput epididymis. It is slightly wider and it receives the Vasa Efferentia. Look, this Vasa Efferentia open into the upper region of epididymis, that is head or caput epididymis. The middle part is thin, comparatively thin. It is also called as body or may be called as corpus epididymis. Corpus epididymis. And the lower part, lower region, this lower region is again wide. Lower region is again wide, called as tail or may be called as Cauda epididymis. Cauda epididymis. So I said the epididymis is divided into 3 regions. Upper, which is wider, known as head or caput epididymis. Middle, thin, known as body or corpus epididymis. And lower, tail or Cauda epididymis. Now what is the function of epididymis? First of all, when the sperms get transferred into the epididymis, you know that sperms are produced in seminiferous tubules. From seminiferous tubules, they get transferred via Tubuli Recti into the Rete Testis. From Rete Testis via Vasa Efferentia, the sperms get transferred into the epididymis, head part of epididymis. In this head part of epididymis, the sperms undergo physiological maturation. The sperms undergo physiological maturation, as well as the sperms acquire increased motility and fertilizing ability. It means in this part the sperms undergo physiological maturation. Now from here that sperms are passed into the lower part. नंतर इथून ते स्पर्म्स मॅच्युअर झालेले स्पर्म्स या ठिकाणी एपिडिडायमिसचा जो लोअर पार्ट आहे तिथे आणले जातात. You know the lower part of epididymis is known as the tail or Cauda epididymis, and here the sperms are stored. The sperms are stored. या ठिकाणी sperms साठवून ठेवले जातात. And next one is vas deferens or plural Vasa Deferentia. Vasa Deferentia. Here I am going to show you know that this is the posterior end of epididymis. Epididymis से खालचं टोक आहे. And actually the epididymis continues. Epididymis, it continues as vas deferens. Look. With the help of blue color, I am going to show. This is vas deferens. Vas deferens. Of course, here we have considered only a single scrotal site, all single structure. But this is vas deferens. Means vas deferens, it is an elongated muscular tube. It starts from the posterior end of epididymis and then it runs upward. It runs upward and it enters into the abdominal cavity, isn't it? It enters into the abdominal cavity through this inguinal canal. थोडा वेळापूर्वीच मी तुम्हाला म्हटलं की abdominal cavity आणि scrotal cavity यांना जोडणारा हा जो नॅरो ओपनिंग आहे, पॅसेज आहे, त्याला म्हटलं जातं इंग्विनल कॅनॉल. अर्थात या इंग्विनल कॅनॉल मधून दोन्ही बाजूच्या व्यासा डिफरन्शिया या ॲब्डॉमिनल कॅव्हिटी मध्ये प्रवेश करत असतात. ओके, नाउ लेट अस टॉक अबाउट द व्यासा डिफरन्शिया. सेवंथ पार्ट, व्यासा डिफरन्शिया. Vasa Deferentia, it is plural form. Vas deferens, singular. Vasa Deferentia, plural. Vas deferens, singular. Now, Vasa Deferentia. These Vasa Deferentia are nothing but simply elongated and muscular tubes originating from the posterior end of Cauda epididymis. Actually, the Vasa Deferentia are nothing but the continuation of Cauda epididymis. So here, with the help of blue color, I have shown the vas deferens. So the vas deferens, or we can say both Vasa Deferentia, they originate from the posterior end of Cauda epididymis and run upward and enter into the abdominal cavity. Enter into the abdominal cavity through inguinal canal. I can show with the help of such dotted line. This is supposed to be the inguinal canal. Now what happens with this Vasa Deferentia? That we have to study, and for that purpose we have to draw here another diagram. So let me rub this diagram now, and I will draw another diagram showing all the parts of male reproductive system. Now look, here once again I am going to draw the lateral view or side view of entire male reproductive system. Okay, please look. Here once again I am going to show the scrotum in side view. This is supposed to be the testes. In the testes, these are its compartments, lobules, we all are known. These are supposed to be the seminiferous tubules. Seminiferous tubules join together to form Tubuli Recti. Tubuli Recti open into a network of wide and irregular tubules known as Rete Testis. Then here are presence of Vasa Efferentia. Vasa Efferentia. Here I am going to show the Epididymis, you know, highly elongated muscular tube, Epididymis, and from the posterior end of Cauda epididymis, it starts the vas deferens, which enters into the abdominal cavity. Here, with the help of blue chalk, blue color, I am going to show the vas deferens. Here I am going to show the vas deferens. Please try to understand. Now you must have proper understanding that from here is the abdominal cavity. Okay. So I repeatedly told you that the Vasa Deferentia, or here vas deferens, it runs upward and enters into the abdominal cavity. Now here let me tell you little bit about the excretory system, what we have studied in 11th. You know, in 11th we have studied about the excretory system. You know that the excretory system consists of pair of kidneys. Just look, I am going to show here side view. Single kidney here I have shown. You know that here is supposed to be the ureter, as it is the side view, lateral view. Therefore I have shown single kidney, single ureter. You know that ureters open into the urinary bladder, isn't it? We have studied in 11. So here is supposed to be the urinary bladder. Is that clear? This is urinary bladder, and we know here is the urethra, isn't it? Urethra, which carries urine from urinary bladder to outside the body. Now what happens? The vas deferens singular or Vasa Deferentia plural, after entering into the abdominal cavity, pass over the urinary bladder, curves the ureter of its own side. You must have proper understanding. Suppose inside view, this is supposed to be the urinary bladder. Just imagine, inside view, this is supposed to be the urinary bladder, and these are the ureters. Okay, these are the ureters. Now this vas deferens, it comes and it passes over the urinary bladder and curves the ureter, or it turns over the ureter of its own side. या ठिकाणी दोन युरेटर्स आहेत, हे युरिनरी ब्लॅडर आहे. आता ह्या ज्या वासा डिफरन्शिया आल्या त्या युरिनरी ब्लॅडर वरून मागे जातील. अर्थात या ज्या युरेटर्स आहेत या युरेटर्सला विळखा घालून त्या युरिनरी ब्लॅडरच्या मागे जातील. नाउ हियर आय हॅव ड्रॉन द साइड व्ह्यू. या ठिकाणी मी लॅटरल व्ह्यू दाखवलाय, साइड व्ह्यू दाखवलाय, आणि त्यामुळे आपल्याला मी एकच व्यास डिफरन्स दाखवतोय, एकच या ठिकाणी युरेटर दाखवतोय. सो आय सेड दॅट the vas deferens or vasa deferentia, they pass over the urinary bladder, curve the ureter, join with the duct of seminal vesicles. What is seminal vesicle? That just we shall study after a few minutes. This is a short duct of seminal vesicle, and vas deferens, it joins with the duct of seminal vesicle. Join with the duct of seminal vesicle to form a common duct. Here I have shown with the help of yellow chalk to form a common duct. This duct is called as ejaculatory duct. Try to understand properly. The vas deferens या ठिकाणी seminal vesicle च्या ductला join होण्यापूर्वी it appears slightly swollen. Here it appears slightly swollen, spindle shaped. Look. This slightly spindle shaped, swollen or bulb-like structure shown by the vas deferens is called ampulla, and it is meant for the temporary storage of spermatozoa, temporary storage of sperms before ejaculation. याचा अर्थ स्पर्म्स, मेल गॅमेट्स, मेल रिप्रोडक्टिव्ह सिस्टीम मधून बाहेर टाकून देण्यापूर्वी या ठिकाणी ते साठवून ठेवले जात असतात. So, what is the function of Vasa Deferentia? Very simple. Transportation of spermatozoa from epididymis up to the ejaculatory duct, and second, temporary storage of sperms. Temporary storage of sperms. One more point I want to add here. After attaining maturity by the male, the sperms are continuously produced. Sperms are continuously produced, and that sperms, though not get ejaculated out, जरी ते sperms मेलच्या शरीराच्या बाहेर टाकले गेले नाही, तरी सुद्धा they are stored here in the ampulla, in the initial part of, we can say, vas deferens, in the epididymis, and they get absorbed. If not get ejaculated, they degenerate and get absorbed into the vas deferens. Anyway, so here we have discussed about the Vasa Deferentia. Now come to the next part, that is seminal vesicles. Seminal vesicles, of course, these are paired structure. These are 2 in number. Here, with the help of pink color, I have shown a single seminal vesicle as it is the lateral view. Now, each seminal vesicle is small, leaf-like, having the length of about 3.5 cm to 4 cm. It is thin-walled, and it is glandular structure. Means actually the seminal vesicles are glands. These are accessory glands. You know, gland means the organ which has ability to secrete some secretion. So seminal vesicles, these are paired, or these are 2 small leaf-like and thin walled structure having the length of about 3.5 cm to 4 cm. These are located slightly posterolateral side of urinary bladder. याचा अर्थ या युरिनरी ब्लॅडरच्या मागे आणि थोडंसं साइडला हे सेमिनल वेसिकल्स प्रेझेंट असतात. आता या सेमिनल वेसिकलचं कार्य काय? These are glandular structures and they are responsible for the secretion of yellowish, slightly alkaline and viscous material. These seminal vesicles, they secrete yellowish, slightly alkaline and thick or viscous material known as seminal fluid. Now, this seminal fluid consists of different components. Especially, it consists of sugar, fructose. You know, fructose, simple sugar. Also, it contains protein fibrinogen. Also, it contains prostaglandins. Seminal fluid, it consists of different components such as sugar, fructose, then protein fibrinogen, prostaglandins. Let me tell you the role. First of all, you must know that this seminal fluid, it contributes about 60% of the semen. Now, what is semen? That we are going to study after the study of male reproductive system. But temporarily I can say that semen is nothing but the male reproductive fluid which is ejaculated out from male reproductive system during sexual intercourse, during the mating of male and female. ज्या वेळेला सेक्शुअल इंटरकोर्स घडून येतो, मेल आणि फिमेल यांचं सेक्शुअल मीटिंग होतं, त्यावेळेला मेल रिप्रोडक्टिव्ह सिस्टीम मधून जे मटेरियल बाहेर इजॅक्युलेट केलं जातं, ज्याला आपण मेल रिप्रोडक्टिव्ह फ्लुइड असं म्हणतो, दॅट इज नथिंग बट द सीमेन which consists of millions of sperms, and the 60% part of that semen is in the form of seminal fluid. Now, what is the role of these different components? Let me tell you. The sugar fructose, it provides nutrition to the sperms. It provides nutrition to the sperms. We know, being simple sugar. Protein fibrinogen, it helps for the coagulation of semen after ejaculation. Coagulation means what? This protein fibrinogen, it helps to maintain that thick nature, viscous nature of semen after ejaculation also. अर्थात ज्या वेळेला हे सीमेन मेल रिप्रोडक्टिव्ह सिस्टीम मधून फिमेल रिप्रोडक्टिव्ह ट्रॅक्ट मध्ये डिपॉझिट केलं जातं, इजॅक्युलेट केलं जातं, त्यावेळेला सुद्धा ते सीमेन थिक विस्कस राहावं. इट इज नेसेसरी फॉर द सर्वायवल ऑफ स्पर्म्स. ते थिक नेचर, ते विस्कस नेचर मेंटेन करण्यासाठी या प्रोटीन फायब्रिनोजनची गरज असते. आणि पुढे जाऊन आपण असं सांगूया, दिस प्रोस्टाग्लॅंडिन दीज आर सम हार्मोन लाईक सबस्टन्सेस. हे काही हार्मोन सारखे सबस्टन्सेस आहेत. दिस प्रोस्टाग्लॅंडिन स्टिम्युलेट, induces the contraction of female reproductive tract. After this topic we shall study about the female reproductive system. At that time we shall discuss in detail, but here also I want to tell you that the female reproductive system consists of uterus, that is womb, ज्याला आपण मराठीत गर्भाशय म्हणतो. Here is the vagina, याला आपण वजायना असं म्हणूया, सर्व्हिक्स, वजायना वगैरे वगैरे. आता ज्या वेळेला मेल आणि फिमेलचा सेक्शुअल इंटरकोर्स होतो त्यावेळेला सीमेन गेट डिपॉझिटेड समवॉट हियर. या ठिकाणी सीमेन डिपॉझिट होतं की ज्या सीमेन मध्ये हजारो स्पर्म्स असतात आणि या ओव्हिडक्ट मध्ये तिथे ओव्हम आलेला असतो. ओव्हम, फिमेल गॅमेट. मग या ठिकाणी असलेले सीमेन मधल्या स्पर्म्सला ओव्हम पर्यंत जायचं असतं. And to facilitate the movement of sperm from here, we can say from cervix part of uterus up to the ovum, the uterus and vagina, it shows slight contraction. It helps, it facilitates the motility or movement of sperm. Means what I want to tell you, prostaglandin present in the seminal fluid, it bring about or it induces the slight contraction of this uterus and vagina, which helps for the movement of sperm to reach up to the ovum. That we will come across again while studying the topic fertilization. So here that seminal fluid get mixed with the sperms brought by the vas deferens. आपण शिकलो या व्हासा डिफरन्शिया मार्फत आणलेले जे स्पर्म्स आहेत आणि सेमायनल वेसिकल मार्फत तयार केलेले सेमायनल फ्लुइड या ठिकाणी मिक्स होतात आणि पुढचा आता स्ट्रक्चर येतं, दॅट इज इजॅक्युलेटरी डक्ट. सो लेट अस टॉक अबाउट द इजॅक्युलेटरी डक्ट्स. ऑफ कोर्स these are also paired structure. In this diagram I have shown single because it is the lateral view. Ejaculatory duct. Look, ejaculatory duct, it is a very short and thin walled duct having the length of about just 2 to 2.5 centimeter, and it is formed by the union, by the joining of vas deferens and duct of seminal vesicle, isn't it? Ejaculatory duct, it is formed by the joining of vas deferens and duct of seminal vesicle. Of course, there are two ejaculatory ducts, and the ejaculatory ducts simply carry that mixture of sperms and seminal fluid. Just now we studied. Now the ejaculatory duct of both the sides, दोन्ही बाजूच्या ejaculatory duct, they open into the urethra. Look, here is the urethra. I am going to show. Isn't it? Urethra, the part of excretory system. But in 11th you people have studied that urethra in male is considered as urinogenital duct. urinogenital duct because it is the common passage, it is the common part of excretory system as well as reproductive system. So here the ejaculatory ducts, they join with the urethra, from both the sides. You must have understanding. Look, suppose here is the urinary bladder, here is urethra, and these are supposed to be the ejaculatory ducts. From both sides, that ejaculatory ducts open into the urethra. So the function of ejaculatory duct is simply to carry the mixture of sperms and seminal fluid up to the urethra. Now come to the next part, that is nothing but the urethra. आता पुढच्या भागाकडे आपण वळतोय, that is urethra. urethra बाबत आपण बोलूया. Just as I said that urethra, it is a common passage of excretory system and reproductive system, and therefore it may be called as urinogenital duct. In 11th we have studied that in male urethra passes through the penis. It passes through the penis, and in male urethra is very much longer. The length of urethra in male is near about 20 centimeter. Look, I am going to show here in diagram. Here I have shown the complete urethra. या ठिकाणी मी urethra दाखवलेली आहे. We know that from here, that is from the urinary bladder, here is complete urethra. We know urethra opens outside the body by means of an opening called urethral orifice, urethral opening or meatus at the tip of penis. Now this urethra, which is about 20 centimeter in its length in male, is further divided into three regions. तिचे तीन भाग पाडले जातात. The initial part of urethra, into which ejaculatory ducts open. हा जो युरेथ्राचा सुरुवातीचा भाग आहे की ज्या भागामध्ये दोन्ही बाजूने ejaculatory ducts open होतात, and it is, we can say, surrounded by prostate gland. Now we are going to study about prostate gland. Here I am going to show the prostate gland. आणि ज्या युरेथ्राच्या भागाभोवती प्रोस्टेट ग्लँड प्रेझेंट असते, हा सुरुवातीचा युरेथ्राचा जो भाग आहे की ज्याची लांबी सर्वसाधारण 2.5 सेंटीमीटर असते, याला म्हटलं जातं प्रोस्टॅटिक युरेथ्रा. I am going to repeat. The initial small part of urethra having the length of about 2.5 centimeter, into which ejaculatory ducts open from both sides and it is surrounded by prostate gland, is known as prostatic urethra. Then the middle part, which is also short, having the length of about 2.5 centimeter, is known as membranous urethra. You just look, this much part, membranous urethra, 2.5 centimeter in its length, membranous urethra. According to some authors, this membranous urethra may show a small ampulla, that is bulb-like structure. It is called as the urethral bulb, and therefore this part may be called as the bulbourethra. Anyway, so this middle part is known as the membranous urethra, which is 2.5 centimeter in its length and the remaining part of urethra which passes through the penis is known as penile urethra. As it passes through the penis, therefore it is called penile urethra. It may be called as spongy urethra. It may be called as spongy urethra. Why? That I will tell you after some time. Now, what is the role of urethra? We know that the main function of urethra is to carry the urine at the time of urination or maturation, and second, at the time of intercourse, at the time of sexual intercourse of male and female, the semen containing millions of sperm, it passes through the urethra and is ejaculated outside the body. That's all about the urethra. Now let us talk about this prostate gland. Let us talk about the prostate gland. Prostate gland. Few minutes before we have studied about seminal vesicles. Seminal vesicle. I said seminal vesicles are glandular structure. Means these are actually the glands. And here the prostate gland, it is also the gland. But the prostate gland is single. It is single, very large, multilobulated gland. Listen, it is single, very large and multilobulated gland. Multilobulated in the sense it has many small lobules. Let me show here. In this manner somewhat. It has many lobules and it is present around the junction of ejaculatory ducts and urethra. Please try to understand. It is present around the junction of ejaculatory ducts and urethra. Look here. You know, this is urethra. I have shown with the help of white chalk. You know, this is ejaculatory duct and both ejaculatory duct open into the urethra. So at the junction of ejaculatory duct and urethra, there is a presence of prostate gland. The prostate gland, I said, it is very much large, having the weight of about 40 grams, and it opens into the urethra. It opens into the urethra by means of many small ductules. असंख्य लहान लहान नलिकांच्या मदतीने ही प्रोस्टेट ग्लँड युरेथ्रा मध्ये उडत असते. The prostate gland is responsible for the secretion of slightly milky, thin and slightly acidic material known as prostatic fluid or prostatic secretion. Prostatic fluid. I said that this prostatic fluid, it is thin, then milky and slightly acidic in nature. It is released, it is poured into the urethra. Urethra मध्ये टाकलं जात असतं. या प्रोस्टॅटिक फ्लुइड मध्ये जे वेगवेगळे कंपोनेंट्स आहेत ते कोणते? The prostatic fluid consists of mainly citrate. Second, it consists of acid phosphate. In addition to that, it contains some proteolytic enzymes. Also, it contains vitamin C. Now, this prostatic fluid, it contributes about 30% of semen. Initially, I told you what is semen, isn't it? Male reproductive fluid. And also I told you the 60% of that male reproductive fluid is contributed by the secretion of seminal vesicle, that is seminal fluid, and 30% of that semen is contributed by the prostatic secretion. It contains these different substances. Now, the major role of this prostatic secretion, two nourish and activate the sperm. To nourish and activate the sperm, or in another words we can say it helps to increase the motility and viability of sperm. Motility, that is ability to move, necessary to reach up to the ovum at the time of fertilization. So it increases the motility and viability of the sperms, makes the sperms quite active. One point here I want to add. Acid phosphatase present in the prostatic secretion, it also neutralizes the acidic nature of vagina. It neutralizes the acidic nature of vagina. Try to understand. You know that here is vagina, the female copulatory organ, and I told you a few minutes before, during sexual intercourse the semen of male is deposited somewhat here. ज्या वेळेला सेक्शुअल इंटरकोर्स होतो त्यावेळेला सिमेन या ठिकाणी डिपॉझिट होतं. मग या सिमेन मध्ये असणारे जे स्पर्म्स आहे ते वजायनाच्या ऍसिडिक नेचरमुळे नष्ट होऊ शकतात आणि अर्थात त्यासाठी या वजायनाचं जे ऍसिडिक नेचर आहे त्याला न्यूट्रलाइज करण्याचं कार्य हे ऍसिड फॉस्फेटेज करत असतं की जे या प्रोस्टॅटिक फ्लुइड मध्ये असतं. सो हियर वी हॅव अंडरस्टूड what is prostate gland and what is the role of prostate gland. Now come to the next, that is Cowper's gland. This may be called as bulbourethral gland. Bulbourethral glands, because these are two in number. These Cowper's gland are very small glands present on both the sides of membranous urethra. On both the sides of membranous urethra. Membranous urethra. Here I am going to show a single because it is lateral view. On both the sides, each on either side, and that Cowper's gland open into the urethra. या Cowper's gland दोन्ही बाजूच्या युरेथ्रा मध्ये ओपन होत असतात. Actually, this Cowper's gland secretes alkaline and sticky material, that is mucus. Alkaline and sticky material, that is mucus, and it has a great importance because the secretion of Cowper gland, that is alkaline mucus, it neutralizes the acidic nature of urethra. Try to understand. You know the main function of urethra is to carry the urine, isn't it, at the time of urination, and we know that urine is slightly acidic, so urethra also remains acidic. But when semen containing sperm passes out through the urethra, due to the acidic nature of urethra, the sperms can be killed, and therefore the secretion of Cowper gland, that is mucus, alkaline mucus, it neutralizes the urethra. Understand? अर्थात या Cowper's gland चं जे secretion आहे mucus, sticky secretion की जे alkaline आहे ते या urethraला neutralize करत असतात कारण urethra ही acidic असते. So here we have seen about the Cowper's gland, and now come to the last part of male reproductive system, that is penis. All of you are know that penis is male copulatory organ. It is nothing but the male copulatory organ, or it is called as external intromittent organ. External intromittent organ, or we can say it is male copulatory organ. Male copulatory organ means you might have studied that it takes part in sexual intercourse, copulation, coitus, that is at the time of sexual intercourse of male and female. At the time of sexual intercourse of male and female, the penis is entrusted into the vagina of female. the penis is entrusted into the vagina of female, and therefore here I have written it is called intromittent organ. Intromittent organ, or we can say it is male copulatory organ. Here let me show, this is supposed to be the penis. Here is supposed to be the penis. Okay. Now the penis, we know it is cylindrical, soft and pendulous organ. It is muscular. It is without bone. It is without bone. Now the tip of penis appears slightly swollen. The tip of penis appears slightly swollen, and the swollen tip of the penis is known as glans penis. Glans penis. The swollen tip of penis is known as the glans penis, and the glans penis is covered by means of a retractable fold of skin. It is covered by a retractable fold of skin, or we can say a loose fold of skin. Retractable in the sense the skin which can be retracted back, and that fold of skin present over the glans penis is known as prepuce, or may be called as foreskin. And at the tip of penis, we know it opens the urethra. What we call urethral orifice or meatus. Actually, the penis, it consists of 3 longitudinal masses of spongy tissue. Let me explain you. Suppose if we took the transverse section of penis, if we studied the transverse section of penis, here I am going to draw a diagram. Here is supposed to be the TS of transverse section of penis. Now in transverse section we can notice there are presence of 3 columns of spongy tissue, 3 columns of muscles. In other words, let me show. 2 are upper. These 2 upper masses of muscles or masses of spongy tissue called as corpora cavernosa, and this lower and single mass of spongy tissue is known as corpus spongiosum. The urethra is surrounded by corpus spongiosum. This is urethra. ही पेनिस मधून पास झालेली जी युरेथ्रा आहे ती या पेनिसचे जे 3 लॉन्जिट्युडिनल मासेस आहेत स्पॉन्जी टिश्यूचे त्याच्या कोणत्या मास मधून पास होते हे लक्षात घ्या. द युरेथ्रा इट passes through the corpus spongiosum, and that's why I told you few minutes before the penile urethra, the पेनिस मधून पास होणारा जो युरेथ्राचा भाग आहे त्याला आपण पेनाइल युरेथ्रा किंवा स्पॉन्जी युरेथ्रा म्हणतो. का स्पॉन्जी युरेथ्रा म्हणतो? कारण हा युरेथ्राचा भाग या कॉर्पस स्पॉन्जिओझम मधून पास झालेला असतो. Actually, these masses of spongy tissue consist of so many blood sinuses. Blood sinuses any small spaces. These blood sinuses remain empty when the person is not sexually excited, when the person is normal, at that time these blood sinuses remain empty. But at the time of sexual intercourse, at the time of mating of male and female, due to the effect of certain hormones, the blood pressure increases, heart rate increases, the blood flow increases, and these blood sinuses get filled by means of the blood. अर्थात हे जो ब्लड साइनसेस हे रक्ताने भरले जातात and because of which the soft and pendulous penis become long, hard and erect, necessary to entrust it into the vagina of female. So here we have studied about the penis. So in this manner we have completed the entire study of male reproductive system.